Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today, episode 255. It is Friday, June 18th. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, what's up? Tim here.
What is up, indeed? Good to see everyone. Thanks for tuning in with us on this beautiful Friday. It's gonna be a hot one, actually, in Portland. It's gonna be hot in Portland for actually the whole West Coast is about to melt. I've heard like records.
I'm already pretty hot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like 10 in the morning, and I'm like, should I turn the air on or should I just open a window?
Like, why am I sweating?
Yes. Anyway, so thanks for joining us again. We're back after a little break, but we got some stuff to talk about, including like Android 12. Beta 2 dropped last week. We've been playing with that. Big update for a beta, which is lovely. So it's lots to talk about there. There's a quick new little bit about the Pixel 6. We've got Wear OS. Well, I've turned it into drama. I don't know if there's actually drama there, but there's Wear OS stuff with Qualcomm, Google. No one's on the same page. We've got a new watch. Kellen's Watch Talk will be back for a second. Hopefully, never mind. We've got new Pixel Buds. I'm not wearing them because you guys know I've had issues with Pixel Buds on the show in the past. So let's see. What else is going on? Google Chat. I don't know if people were still using Hangouts. You and I thought were the last two Hangouts users, and we have left. So, but Google Chat is available. Samsung, we got some potential dates for a new Fold and the watches, and OnePlus and Oppo may just keep coming closer and closer together. So we'll talk about that and what they're up to. So okay, let's start with Google. Google Talk. Oh, trivia. I forgot the only reason anyone's here watching live. Trivia is back. So $10 of Google Play credit to all of the winners today. There isn't necessarily a theme for the chat or for the trivia, but you're going to have to do some typing. And a lot of the stuff might be typed correctly. Like there's going to be some typing involved. So if you're on the smartphone watching live, maybe a slight disadvantage there, but
yeah, you won't be able to swipe these answers out, I don't think.
Probably not. No.
No.
So just a little, heads up there. So anyway, trivia is back. End of the show. If you're new around here, we run through our topics. We do trivia, ask 5 questions. We give 5 people prizes. And this week we're giving away $10 Google Play credit. Like I'm so not used to doing my whole intro spiel anymore. I almost forgot that whole. That's big. I apologize for that, guys. Trivia is back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while, but it feels really good to be back.
It's feel nice to kind of be on camera doing whatever we're doing.
Well, there's a lot of stuff coming up. So if you've missed us and we've missed you, like, don't worry. We got Android 12 coming. We got Pixels coming. We've got Samsung stuff coming. We got Wear OS drama. You have to call it drama because that's the only way to make Wear OS interesting. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole lot of good stuff coming. So
yeah, I know that we've been on a really long break. Like we have not. Tim and I've just been in hibernation. But I expect very shortly that we will start going back to regularly scheduled. I don't want to make any promises. I feel like people on the YouTube do this often where they don't make content for a while and then they show up every 6 months and go, "Hey guys, I'm motivated. I am back. I'm so sorry for my break. I'm going to start doing and then like they don't show back up again for like another 6 months. Like that happens on YouTube all the time. And I'm not saying we're that guy.
No, that's definitely like so Scumpy, he's a gamer guy. He does that.
He's that
gone
every
for a year. And he's like, "Man, I'm back. So much hype, blah blah blah."
I'm
And then he disappears for another
I'm
2
so
years.
motivated. Yeah. And then they just don't make another video again after that one that says they're back.
So weird.
So I'm not trying to, we're not that guy. I'm just saying there's just not been much going on, which is why we haven't been doing many shows, but there's about to be. So I'm trying to say like we should, anyway, I don't want to talk anymore about this. Let's talk about topics.
All right, cool. Google.
Okay, so Android 12 beta. We're in beta 2. It dropped last week, which actually seemed a little bit earlier than I was expecting. I thought maybe it would have been this week, but we got it last week. Anyways, Android 12 beta 2 is here, and it's really good. So when the first developer previews were available, they were cool, but it seemed like we were missing a lot. It seemed like Google was definitely building up towards something. And then beta 1 dropped, and they started teasing it like Material You, and there's a bunch of stuff, right? They were like, look how pretty it's gonna be, and then they didn't give it to us right away. And anyway, so in beta 2, we are getting like a whole new notification area that's weird, but I'm kind of used to it now. New quick settings. We have this cool theming idea where like you change the color of your wallpaper and then it starts changing the color of all of your stuff everywhere. So like mine's purplish blue, so all my notifications are bluish and stuff. So it's doing this fun thing there. I hope we get some more customization to that at some point, like where we can maybe pick from a set of colors or something. Google needs to update, I think, the Pixel launcher maybe to do that. Anyway, so there's actually much more than that, though. We have an entire list, of course. If you own a Pixel 3 up through the Pixel 5, you can get this. And the Android beta is super easy to sign up for at this point. You just go to, I think it's probably android.com/beta. Or something. Yeah.
Yep.
And you just click, if you own a Pixel phone, you'll see it listed there once you sign in. You just click yes, enroll me in this, and then it just sends you the update on your phone. It's like the simplest thing ever. Anyway, so we got the privacy dashboard that they had teased previously. The privacy dashboard is just like a one-stop shop for all of the apps and what they've been using on your phone recently. It's a cool thing. I've been in there once, but when you do look at it, it is cool. Like it shows you a timeline of everything that's been using and what it was using. And I actually, the first time I used it, saw an app that was grabbing my location a bunch, and I went, dude, I don't really need you doing that all day long. And so I killed that location. Anyway, so the privacy dashboard is there. There are now toggles if you just want your phone to not ever have a mic or camera turned on, in case you are in a really, really private setting somewhere and you don't need those like randomly firing up. You can turn those off. Let's see, what else do we got? Oh, so the Wi-Fi. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. So in the Wi-Fi UX, Google changed it. So if you're in the quick settings, so here, I'll show you. So up here, internet, right there, right? So if I tap on that, it used to just be a Wi-Fi toggle. Now when you tap it, it pops up this thing, and it shows you the Wi-Fi network you're on, the wireless net. I'm sorry, the Wi-Fi network and the mobile network that you're on. And so it used to just be a Wi-Fi on-off switch. Now it's like you tap internet, and it takes you to this pop-up, and where you can hit this X to turn off Wi-Fi, and that puts you on 5G. And then you could tap on other Wi-Fi networks. It's kind of unintuitive, but because it's not just a Wi-Fi on-off. I'm so used to just having a Wi-Fi on-off because every phone I think I've owned in the last decade has just had a Wi-Fi on-off switch. And this, like, you have to hit this X, or it's kind of weird. I don't like it at all, to be honest.
Why do you keep turning off your Wi-Fi, like, on and off? Am I missing, like, a reason?
It's like, I don't know, if you ever have, like, an app hiccup or something, and you're like, well, is it my Wi-Fi? Don't you do that? And then you, like, turn your Wi-Fi off? Like that's one of the first things I do if, like, an app isn't working properly. Or, like,
first I'll force close the app, see if that'll fix the problem. And then usually I'll just toggle airplane mode on and off. I won't mess with, like, Wi-Fi, right? I mean, that seems like it'd be just... I come from the school of toggling airplane mode.
Right, but so I do it because sometimes if your Wi-Fi sucks, or you don't, or maybe you're having an issue, you turn Wi-Fi off because then it jumps onto your data connection for your cell network, and if that works, then you go, oh, it's my Wi-Fi, right?
Okay,
it's just
that
like,
makes
it's
sense.
my way of troubleshooting if it's my Wi-Fi. Anyway, so I toggle it off and on, or if I'm like somewhere and it randomly connects to a public network that I definitely don't want to be on, I'm like, just turn that off. So I toggle my Wi-Fi on frequently, and now it's just a kind of a weird new step that I guess I need to get used to. Anyway.
I can definitely appreciate where you're coming from. However, I kind of like it because I actually there's two separate Wi-Fi signals in my house, like two network names, and I want to jump between those sometimes. And this makes that very easy. I don't have to long press and go to an entirely separate thing. This, I can just do whatever. It does, yeah. And so it makes that kind of nice. So I get that there are pros and cons, but so far I'm kind of liking it.
Yeah, see, so that's why I'm trying not to dog on it, because it's just so different. I'm not used to it. But like you just said, if you want to jump, because I have the same thing. I have a 2.4 and a 5 in my house. If I want to switch between those, it's easier now, sort of, I think. And it also shows me my cellular network. So whatever. It's just, I probably just need to get used to it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever
It's
will
always
actually.
fun to kind of find little things to complain about, though. Get the
It
Reddit
is.
people all amped up
Well, we're kind of
and
like the
shaking.
kings of complaining about little things. It's like what we do, right?
Sure.
Let's see. So the power menu, or the power button, I should say, you can like officially turn that into a Google Assist button, Google Assistant button now if you want. And the power menu is now a 3-dotted menu with big circles, and you can access it from your quick settings tiles. Same with Google Pay. You can access that in your quick settings tiles now.
Hmm.
Um, the notification area is this weird. Here, let me turn off my dark theme here. It's this weird white area underneath the quick settings when you're first swipe down. It's very weird. It definitely takes getting used to. I love this animation. And so your notifications are in this new weird spot. There's a new gesture on the back that you can double tap, and I think mine takes a screenshot. So, but you can do the double tap gesture to launch Google Assistant, open apps. I just have it do screenshots for whatever reason. What else is new? The lock screen's been tweaked a little bit. We still have the big ginormous clock. And we also now have a little Google Pay shortcut there. I don't know why. You can usually just tap your phone to things and that opens Google Pay, but that is there. That's sort of like the big changes, but it's really starting to turn into a very new, polished looking UI that Google hasn't had in a while. Like, this is a big change. The UI is a big change from what it's been, and I like it so far, especially the wallpaper stuff. Like, it kind of gives you an incentive to change your wallpaper all the time to see what the colors are going to look like throughout the rest of your phone. It seems like a silly thing, but it's kind of fun if you're into like customizing, which we were for a really, really long time.
I think overall it's great. I think I saw Hector in the chat asking about recommending it for daily drivers. Like this one, sure. I haven't really run into many issues. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it's the software or really just kind of like this super mid-range Pixel device, aka the Pixel 5. Performance and like overall just sort of like there's just like stutters. There's like little transition issues, like animation issues. It's just kind of stuttery. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say janky, but like there's just like little things where you're just like, this just isn't smooth. And I'm really hoping like the Pixel 6 or the Pixel 6 Pro or whatever is like awesome and like overpowered. That way it runs this super smooth to see what that's like. But overall, in terms of it being a daily driver, sure, why not?
I've been using it as mine. I haven't had any issues.
Yeah, this is not going to apply to anybody. The only problem I've come across is sometimes Bluetooth connections with certain products. For example, I was setting up a Hue sync bridge or whatever, and a sync box, and it just would not connect, no matter what I did. And I tried another phone, and it worked perfectly. So I'm assuming it's the phone or the Android 12 or something. I don't know. Hue products can be total pieces of POSs sometimes, but
this is 100% true.
But it worked with another phone, so I have to blame the Pixel 5.
I think there's little bugs like that for sure. Like my wireless charging, I'm pretty sure just stopped working yesterday, and I rebooted it and it was working again. So I think there's little.
I'll have multiple chat bubbles open, and then boom, the whole system UI will just crash and restart those. If you let's say you're logging into a service that has a 2-factor authentication, and they send you a text, you pull down that text, hit the copy to automatically copy the number, and it crashes. Yeah, for me it does.
Because that was in beta 1. I don't know that I, for some reason, have tried that in beta 2, but that was definitely crashing in beta 1. So
yeah, I think
that kind of sucks.
The most important thing to know, and Hector, I'm speaking to you personally, is that you can simply just join the beta, try it out, and if it doesn't work for you, just get out of the beta. You don't have to wipe your data. You aren't going to lose anything. So I say go for it.
It is. I mean, and that's the thing is
no lose scenario.
Yeah, I mean the developer previews you should not really mess with. But Google opens it up into the beta channel because they're saying this is stable enough for people to use for the most part. I mean, it's like, expect some bugs here and there, but it should be stable enough for most people. So, yeah.
Birch is saying, how do you exit without wiping? Is it not possible just to go revert back? You don't have to wipe, do you?
I have not done that in so long that I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, I guess don't quote me on that. I've never tried it because I've always just stuck with it.
Does
Because
it
I
wipe
just,
when you go back?
I
Nice.
I didn't if it does, maybe that kind of sucks. But
Let's see. Leaving. You can opt out anytime, return to stable, public version. When you opt out, all user data on the device will be wiped. So there you go.
well, just back up. I mean, what data do you have that isn't backed up in the cloud these days anyway? Like, it's so easy to set up an Android device. Honestly, I should probably do a post on that. Like, it's gotten so much better to set up an Android phone. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely getting there. I mean, I don't know what
Yeah.
data people might have that isn't going to come back. Stefan is saying, "Don't do
Yes.
it, Hector. Do
I think
it,
you'll be
Hector.
fine.
It's totally awesome. I mean,
I,
Android
yeah.
12 is amazing. I
It's pretty
do love
sweet.
it. Just living with it is sort of like I notice little things. It's just little
Yeah.
things, but
It's
those little
very
things can add
cool.
up. It's a very cool OS. I can't wait to
Yeah.
try it on a good phone. No offense to them.
Yeah, I mean, a Pixel 6, it should be ridiculously good. I've seen some people mention, like, I wonder what Samsung's going to do with One UI in Android 12. That's kind of completely up in the air. Like, they could just keep their One UI look, but if they adopt some of this stuff that Google's done, like even the wallpaper theming and stuff, that could be
Sure.
very cool because Samsung's One UI is very polished. So I'm with you guys. That should be fun to see, assuming Google doesn't kind of just try to keep this to themselves for Pixel phones. And I don't know if they'll do that or not. They certainly said with Material U stuff at Google I/O that it was all on Pixel first. So
Hmm.
this might be a Pixel only experience for a little while. I can't imagine somebody else can't figure out how to do it though. I don't think this is like a
Sure.
patented thing from Google. I mean, maybe it is.
Yeah, Bert's real quick. We are talking about resetting up a device. He says logging into everything. I mean, everything is saved with Google autosave and all that. Like literally, you open an app, you tap on it, and then Gboard just pulls all your credentials right there for you. Like what? What's the deal, dude? Come on, man. What
Versus
does
just
Sony
has custom
Sony phones don't
sounds, all
have
that stuff.
freaking autofill or something? Sheesh.
Yeah, the logging in situation used to be awful. Now it's much easier with
It's so much
Google
easier.
and Chrome autofill. It still takes a little while to set up phones, but
10 minutes. 10 minutes is all it takes.
I
It's
mean,
got
I
to be
just
that
have so
10
much
minutes.
crap to log into that it takes me longer than that. But
Mm.
kind of get going. It needs to be easier, that's for sure. But changing to any phone is not fun. But it has gotten better, sort of.
Yes, Brandon in the chat talking about his wife using SwiftKey. Like you got to get them over to
Back
Gboard.
it on Gboard.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason to be on SwiftKey in 2021, man.
Nick says autofill is still hit and miss. It is. Google has certainly not
What?
nailed the autofill. I can't tell you how many times I go into an app and I'm like tapping in the boxes, being like, okay, show me my autofill. I know I have autofill here. It doesn't. Then I have to It's like an app specific thing. It's probably not an actual autofill problem. It's probably an app. Like my Arlo camera app. I have to long press and then tap autofill and then go find it. It will not auto populate. And that's like an app problem. But I think so. Nick's saying there's issues. I think the issues are related to the apps. Those people who develop them just don't know how to implement that properly or something. And it's probably like one line of code and they just don't know because they're fools or something.
Yeah, I mean, at least we can all agree that setting up phones is fun. Whether it takes you 20 minutes or for some reason it takes Bertzer a couple of hours. What? Dude,
Poor Bertzer.
you're doing it wrong. You have to be doing it wrong at that point. There's just no right way to do it, and it takes a couple hours. My opinion, of course. But that's because, I just set up a phone yesterday, and it just wasn't all that difficult. So I'm coming from my own experience here. I only use about 5 apps anyway, so whatever.
I don't know. Anyway, Google said this is the most installed beta by far. So people are loving it. It's good.
It's like 10,000 people are using it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's probably not a lot, but anyway, the next phone from Google, we believe, is Pixel 6, Pixel 6 Pro, and this week, or this might have been last week actually, 9 to 5 Google was digging into, what the hell were they digging into? What app was it? Anyway, they found Pixel Stand hints that suggest there's a new Pixel Stand coming that might have a fan because it needs to cool the phone, which is not like a new thing in industry. Like Samsung's had fans in their wireless chargers for a while. OnePlus most definitely does with the crazy speeds they're cooking up. But it suggests a new Pixel Stand is on the way. And with fans, we hope that means faster charging. Because what does the Pixel Stand do? Is it 10 or is it 15? It's 10 watt, isn't it?
I think it was 10.
Yeah, so it's fairly slow at this point. So new Pixel Stand would be great for fancy new Pixel phones. It'll be interesting to see how they design it because we're expecting a big hump on the back across up here, like finger thick, like hump on the back for the cameras. So they're gonna have to design around that. Should be interesting. Anyway, the Pixel 6, Pixel 6 Pro. I know we haven't done a lot of shows to talk about these things, which is unfortunate, but it will apparently have faster wireless charging. We think.
That would be nice. I never used the old Pixel Stand, so kind of looking forward to maybe checking one out.
I just have one next to like on my nightstand, and so I just set the phone over there at night, and that's all I use it for. I don't use any of its features. Like it has this sunrise alarm and stuff like that. I turn it all off. I don't use anything. Like I just wake up in the morning anyway. I just happen to wake up early, so I don't need that stuff. But all I do is set it on there, and it slowly charges overnight, and that's it. I don't use it for pictures, Google Photo, nothing. I have no idea. Yeah, 10 watt. Yeah, it's pretty slow.
Shout out to Ben Jacobs, who is the ultimate Pixel stan. It's a pun. Cute.
Got it. I got it. Okay, so a quick bit of watch talk, which I know. I usually have a song, and we're not going to do the Kellen's.
It's okay. This is all relevant again, so it's totally fine.
Yeah. So, you guys know Wear OS, the new Wear OS 3.0. I don't actually know what we're calling this. Industry folks, including Qualcomm, are starting to call it Wear OS 3.0. Google has never called it Wear OS 3.0. I don't think. They just call it new Wear. The new Wear platform, whatever. Anyways, you guys know it's a big deal. Google worked with Samsung to co-develop the new Wear, and Samsung's coming on back after being on Tizen forever. So we'll get Samsung watches running it. They'll be the first Wear you'll be able to customize if you're a watchmaker. Like Samsung's going to put one UI on top of Wear on a watch. It's totally fine. But it's a big deal because Google is showing that maybe they care for the first time in a while, and they will, hopefully improve the platform so that people will want to buy these watches and things like that. Anyway, so the big issue that we need to get straightened out is the situation with Qualcomm. So Qualcomm, as you guys all know, has made the chips for watches for several years now. They're the only one, basically. The 3100 chip, now the 4100 and 4100 Plus. And so we've been wondering, and no one will tell us, will any of these old watches get updated to the new Wear if they're running the 3100 or 4100? I think we all assume the 3100, no chance. That's an ancient garbage chipset. But the 4100 is a year old, and there's only a couple watches running it, so it might not actually be that important, right? I mean, like that's one of the things. There's now 2 watches. We just got a new one this week running the 4100, so it's not that big of a deal. But we've been wondering, is it going to work? And Qualcomm dropped a little statement today or this week and said, well, yes, we are working with Google to make sure the 4100, 4100 Plus work. But also, just so you know, the 3100 would totally work too. It's kind of what they said. Google seemed to not necessarily want them to say these things, and dropped us a statement the following day that just said, user experience is a top priority. We have not confirmed eligibility or timeline on whether any Wear OS smartwatch will update to the new unified platform. There are many technical requirements in order to run the unified platform that ensures all components of the user experience are optimized. So they didn't like name drop Qualcomm other than to me they did. And then the statement doesn't actually say Qualcomm, but they're saying, look, we're still working with everyone. We don't know. We haven't published requirements. We're not going to just confirm to everyone that yes, your watch that you just bought is going to work. So it's a big issue because anyone who owns a Wear OS watch right now or buys one before this new platform arrives, they may not ever get an update. And I actually am not sure that anybody will. Like Fossil already said their older watches won't, but they've confirmed that they're making a new premium watch. The Fossil Gen 6, but it's not like there's a lot of 4100 watches, right? We have the TicWatch Pro 3, and then this thing that I'm wearing. Look at this. We'll talk about this in a minute. This is the TicWatch E3, just announced this week. So there's two watches running this 4100. So if these two don't get support, I don't think there's like 10 million people out there that are going to lose on this update. So anyways, what we need Google to do is come out and say yes or no. And for some reason, they're just not doing that. And maybe they're trying to help their partners run through all the rest of their old inventory of watches before they tell everyone that these watches are going to be cut off. I'm not exactly sure, because we think Samsung's watches are coming in the next month or so. So anyway, the Wear OS saga drama is Qualcomm was the king of it, and now they don't seem to be going forward who Google wants to lead the charge.
Well,
Google has not said that.
Then they haven't done a great job. I mean,
so that was what I was just going to say next is I hope Google has removed Qualcomm as being in the lead of Wear OS, because Qualcomm has been awful for Wear OS. We got a 2100 chip years ago. Then they said they gave us a new chip with that 3100, which was just a 2100 and a coprocessor. It was awful. And then a couple more years went by and they gave us this 4100, which seems nice, but it was too late. Like this whole deal with Google partnering with Samsung to develop this and probably use Samsung chipsets and build everything off of Samsung chipsets kind of seems to me, well, and then Qualcomm coming out and saying, we're working with Google to make sure our stuff works. Wouldn't you think the company who's been leading the Wear OS charge would already know what's going on to be ready? And Qualcomm's not. And then for Google to come out and say, we haven't made any promises. Like, I think this kind of looks like Google saying, you had your chance. You screwed it the hell up, Qualcomm. We're going to play with somebody else who might actually care, because you guys didn't care for years and we made a massive mistake in getting in bed with you. I'm reading way too much into this, by the way. No one has said any of this. This is just me creating this sort of storyline.
No, I think it's great, though. And I think someone a lot smarter than me could even make the argument that not only did Qualcomm sort of bungle whatever's going on with Wear OS and the position it's in, but also just Android, right? There is, whether anyone wants to believe it or not, there is a monopoly, with Android processors. We only use Qualcomm here, and I think that's not a good thing. I think we need competition among those, and unfortunately, NVIDIA was late to the 4G thing, and then obviously Exynos isn't big in the U.S. here, so. And we don't have whatever Xiaomi's pushing. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of issues stemming from it just solely being Qualcomm making processors. So
Brandon Johnson in the chat says, but don't you think Qualcomm would have been more motivated if Google actually made a watch? And then also, instead of just leaving it in the hands of mostly non-tech. So I guess my thoughts there are, a whole bunch of companies made watches that were tech companies. Like obviously Motorola had a bunch, LG had a bunch, Samsung had a Wear OS watch early, Huawei made a couple of decent ones. I mean, there's a bunch of companies that made these watches early on, and the issue, at least I think, is that Qualcomm didn't offer proper chipsets, modern chipsets that would like make watches good enough for anyone to sell a lot of them. And as Qualcomm just sort of stopped even trying, and then they released that 3100, we just saw everyone run away. Like it was, I believe it was around in between the 2100 and 3100, because the 2100 was a bad chip to begin with. And then when they only released that 3100, like everyone kind of just exited. Like Huawei was like, we're done with this. Motorola disappeared for a while, and then they let eBuy Now or whatever that company is make one and brand it with themselves. But Motorola exited. LG exited. Like a bunch of these companies didn't even use the 3100, except like Fossil did, because they were, one of the only players left. Like even Mobvoi wasn't using. Like Mobvoi's the only one making 4100 watches, but forever, I actually don't think Mobvoi made a 3100 watch, because they didn't even see the benefit of it. They just kept throwing the 2100 and everything. So I think the issue is that Qualcomm didn't give them a platform to innovate on or make good watches on. It was this old crappy. So anyway, long story short, I don't think Google making a Pixel watch would have mattered, to be honest. I think Google, and I think I wrote a story about this a couple years ago when the rumor came out that Google had canceled what was going to be a Pixel watch. And I said they made the right decision. They would have made a watch that was terrible, and it would have just been panned across by every tech reviewer, any person with a voice would have said how bad it was. So, anyways, I think a lot of the blame falls on Qualcomm. But the other thing is, it was Google's platform. And if they were just relying solely on Qualcomm to keep everything running, like that's awful on Google's part too. So both companies are obviously massively at fault. They stopped innovating on Wear OS, Google is. So yeah, there's multiple people to blame here, but Qualcomm making terrible chips definitely did not help. So Google just needs to come out and tell us what the hell's going on. Like, are these old watches screwed or not? And they should know by now. I don't think we really need to wait until Samsung releases a watch for them to tell the world what's going on with all these old watches.
I'm curious to see if this new platform even. I mean, they don't even have a name for it. I think it's vaporware.
Well, it's still Wear.
Dude.
They're just calling it Wear. It's just Wear.
I just don't think it's real. They haven't convinced me. So we'll see.
You know, it's actually kind of interesting. Like, you know how like you're like it doesn't really have a name. It's called Wear, I think. Maybe still Wear OS. It's weird because like I said, Qualcomm keeps referring to as Wear OS 3.0, and I swear like Fossil or Mobvoi or somebody did. I don't know necessarily where that name came from. But like in Google's statement, they said, we have not confirmed eligibility or timeline on whether any Wear OS smartwatch will update to the new unified platform. They didn't call it the new Wear platform. So maybe it is still sort of nameless.
Maybe you need to email Google and see like, yo, like, does this thing got a name?
Will you give us a name? Because I don't want to call it the new unified platform, the new unified wearable platform. Like, that's not a good name.
Well, it just sucks to have to write that out, right? Like,
yeah, can we just call it Wear? And I don't really like typing out Wear OS 3.0 because Google I don't think has ever referred to it as that. Like that's the other players in the industry are calling it that, but I don't think that's like what it officially is.
I think I've said this previously. I think we've done a show, but I haven't touched a smartwatch in years.
Right.
And I'll definitely try it out. But I won't be afraid to just throw it away. I mean, what's it gonna take, right, to like get me back into smartwatches? Like, notifications are cool, but I don't know. I don't know. Do people really need this stuff? I don't know. I might just go back to flip phones, man. I'm kind of over it.
So I was like the king of smartwatch guy, right? I wore one for years, and I went from like sports watches from Garmin to back to Wear to, I don't know. I even did fitness bands for a while. Like I've kind of changed. I've gone through all of them. But I've given up on smartwatches in the last year or so.
It's hard not to.
I don't know if that was like a pandemic thing where I'm just sitting at home and I don't need to wear one, but yeah, number one, most of them suck. But I just I just realized I didn't need that extra connectivity. Like notifications, it's kind of nice when you're in the kitchen messing around or you're doing something, even if you're driving, just to like flip your wrist over and be like, oh, what was that? Like there's those times where it's nice, but for the most time when you're sitting at your desk or you're sitting on your couch or whatever, you don't really, well, and now we're going back into a social world where you might be talking to someone. Like the last thing you want to do is do the watch look, right? And so I found that they're not really for me anymore. Like I'm testing this new TicWatch, and I kind of can't wait to take it back off. And that has nothing to do with the watch being good or bad. I just don't know that I like this experience on my wrist at all times anymore. And I think that's just because I did it for so long, and now taking a break from it has been sort of nice. But yeah, I don't know if this new Wear platform is gonna be great or not. I don't know if you're gonna like it or not. Like it'll probably be cool for like a couple days to people like you have never worn it for a while, and then you'll probably go, yeah, I don't really want to charge this thing every day and whatever. Again, you're just gonna go, eh.
As long as it's not a janky mess. My issue is every time Fossil would send me a watch, or like Diesel would send me a watch, God forbid, it would be just a janky mess with like 0.25 gigs of RAM and boot up. I was just booting one up, and you were like, oh, you got to give it an hour to warm up. Yeah, and I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, I'm not doing this, dude. Yeah. So, as long as it's not a janky mess and it performs well, then I could totally see myself getting into it. But I'll be damned if I need to wear a device that has to warm up. Like, it's just, that's not going to happen.
So I think a lot of people who have had smartwatches in the past, those ones that you're talking about, all the old ones pre 4100, are going to be. Now, I can't make a bunch of predictions about the new platform, but I'm assuming it's going to be improved upon even the 4100. And if you put on a 4100 watch and use it, there's no jank, there's no warm up period. Like things work. You touch things, they work. You hit update your Google Play apps, and it doesn't take 30 minutes, and your watch doesn't lose half its battery.
Dude.
It actually updates them.
Right?
Yeah.
What
And so
is happening?
yeah, so I think a lot of you guys like you who have had this really terrible experience, and you did have a terrible experience, 4100 watches improve massively upon that. And so I only assume with Samsung making, maybe a new chipset and Google caring and working with Samsung, I think it's going to be a pretty good experience. At least that's my prediction so far. Like even this thing, which is not a great watch by any means, which I'll talk about in just 1 second, it performs really well. Like I have no complaints in touch responsiveness and getting things done. Like you handle notifications, it actually archives them the first time you hit the archive button and things like that. So I think people will be happy. I think
I'll definitely, I'll give it a try. I hope the hardware looks nice. Like I don't want anything like what you got going on now. Like it's fucking thicker than my wrist. It's just like I don't want that.
Yeah, let's talk about this real quick. So Mobvoi announced this new guy this week. This is the TicWatch E3. It runs the 4100. It's the second 4100 watch on Earth, basically. Mobvoi has the other one, the TicWatch Pro 3. This thing is $200, so it's $100 cheaper than the other one. It is, for $200, it's okay. The performance is great. The responsiveness, touch responsive display, like I just said, all of that's just good. The battery life's like a day and a half, I think, which is pretty solid. Like I charged this yesterday morning, wore it all day, worked out, slept on it, 24-hour heart rate, all that. I'm at 16% right now. It's 1040, so I could probably squeeze a day and a half out of this thing. It has heart rate monitor, it does blood oxygen, it has GPS, it has a ginormously thick case that is not really fun to wear. It's big, it's plastic, it's not metal. I know it looks like it's big and thick and metal. The display's LCD, and it's a pretty bad display. If you get out in the sun at all, it's kind of hard to see. In fact, it's almost impossible to see. It has huge, here, let's see, there you go, you can see the bezels there. It's got huge bezels. Couple buttons on the side. Like, look, this thing's fine. I wish it was $150, not 200, but it is what it is. But it's also really hard to talk much about these watches that are just coming out because, again, as we just said, we don't know the future of these things. But like, look at this thing on wrist. Like, it's big. It's like 44 millimeter, but it's tall. Like, look at it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. TicWatch E3. Oh, jeez. So TicWatch E3. I'll probably have a review up fairly quickly. It's not going to take long to review this guy. I already pretty much have my thoughts down on it, but stay tuned for that like next week if you care about Kellen's watch talk.
Kellen's watch talk.
Yeah, the next thing that we'll get to is the new watches and the new unified wearable platform, Tim, or whatever the hell it's called. Then we'll get back into talking about smartwatches.
Hooray!
Let's see. So, couple of quick things. Google Play now has this really weird layout. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but if you go into update your apps,
we've noticed.
Yeah, everyone should probably have this by now. Here, this thing right here. This thing. So your Google Play now looks weirdly like this. Maybe that'll show up better if I dark theme it. Like this. Yeah. And it's kind of a pain in the ass to manage your updates, to see your apps, to know what's going on. It's a new revamp of the My Apps section, and it sucks. I wish Google would just roll it back and get rid of it. But so if you get this in Google Play and you're wondering what the hell's going on, that's it. We wrote this up and we talk more about like what's going on there. But speaking of things to get used to, like the internet toggle, this Google Play definitely takes some getting used to. So far I don't like it. I just liked it when I'd go in and it would just be on the update page and it would show me all the apps. Now it goes, guess what? You have some updates, but I'm not going to tell you what those apps are unless you tap this extra button. And then you tap the extra button and then you can see it's There's all these extra steps. I don't really get. I have not seen a single person who likes it.
Oh, I absolutely love it.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. Sorry.
No, you don't.
I was even trying to think of a reason why I would like it, but can't. Don't. It sucks. Why would I not?
It's
why would I
so
want?
bad.
Yeah,
It's so bad.
yeah, I don't get it. No one gets it. So
Yeah, no one gets it at all. Google this week announced these guys Pixel. No, they didn't announce it this week. They announced it like a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago. The Pixel Buds A. I think if I open this, it's probably going to try to connect to the computer I'm on. So hold on, let me put it in pairing mode. Don't take over. Don't take over. Okay, I think we're good. Anyways, Pixel Buds A, $100 buds from Google. They come in this white and gray color, or there's like an dark olive green one. They're $100, so they're $80 cheaper than the Pixel Buds second gen. They're okay. They sound just like the Pixel Buds second gen, hopefully with less connectivity issues. They lost the volume swiping gesture, which was actually very handy. They fit the same. They sound the same. They're okay. I don't think anyone should rush out to buy these after using them for a day, but maybe that'll change after I spend some more time. But they're just pretty average buds is kind of where I go. They're comfortable and they look nice like the other Pixel Buds, but there's not much else to say there.
yeah, still waiting for mine. Hope no one ordered them from the Google store. With expedited shipping, they still won't get here till next week. Like Google.
You should just cancel that if you can.
I was gonna, and then I looked at Best Buy, and now they would arrive at the same time. So it's like, or should I just go pick them up? I'm trying to think, like, am I ever gonna be in town? For those who don't know, I moved, and now I live like, in the middle of nowhere. So there's no Best Buy. I don't know what to do. So,
dude, I would cancel that shit.
I'm at the mercy. I'm at the mercy of Goog. Oh,
yeah, Google Store's pretty bad with that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll have a review on the Pixel Buds A at some point, if anyone is interested at all. And I know it's not interesting.
Nick says Lumberjack Tim. That's what it feels like, dude. That's what it feels like. Lumberjack Tim.
Oh, look at Tavares ordered them from Google, got them this morning. So you just got screwed basically from being
Tavares,
Lumberjack Tim.
You get white or olive, and then did you expedite or no expedite? There's a lot of questions here, a lot of follow-ups.
He probably lives in a city where they get shipments on time.
That's ridiculous. That has nothing to do with it. Let that be clear.
Doesn't actually. That is true. It doesn't actually. It's not like you moved 8 hours away into the middle.
No, Amazon's really here on the daily. I got fiber internet. Like, I'm definitely not in the middle of nowhere.
Look at olive, no expedited. Jesus. You should cancel that as quickly as you can.
Just out of principle, I should. Yeah. And then I should drive an hour to the closest Best Buy just to show Google what's up.
That'll show them for sure.
Canceling now.
I would, yeah.
Dude.
Okay, so in sort of unrelated news, Google Chat, if everyone remembers that. It rhymed. We used to all be on Hangouts. Tim and I have since left, and we're on Telegram because Telegram is awesome. But if you were still on Hangouts and you didn't switch over to Google Chat, which will be replacing Hangouts, you can now do that. As of this week, Google says Google Chat is here for everyone, and you can switch. So you can switch to Google Chat. I spent a little bit of time with Google Chat before we left and went to Telegram, and Google Chat's fine. It's a mostly modern messaging app. You can't share things like your location still, which is absurd, but it's got good group chats and not all the features actually. It's actually kind of limited, but it looks slick and it has a dark theme. That's about all I have to say about Google Chat. I know you're canceling, but do you have any thoughts on Google Chat? I think you used it for all of an hour probably.
No, actually, unfortunately, because, dude, let me tell you why I hate Google. So, they announce these sweet new services like Hangouts, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. It's kind of like a unified messaging service. I can use it on my computer. I can use it on my phone, whatever. It's available on different platforms, whatever. I get my whole family on it. I get my sister who lives in Germany on it. I get my mom who's like pushing 100. I get her on it. Everyone's doing great. And then boom, they decide, you know what? And it takes them like 5 years to shut it down. And like in every few months, my mom is like, "What's going on with Hangouts? Like, I don't understand." And I'm like, "I don't understand either. Like, don't ask me. I don't know anything about it." Um, and so now everyone's on chat. And so my whole family, I tried to get them to Telegram, man. I really tried, except
Yeah.
only my mom of all people got on Telegram. So anyway, now we have the full family chat is on chat, and I only talk to individual people on Telegram, and my whole world is just a mess.
That is actually awful.
It
That is
sucks.
what I worried about when I tried to switch everyone.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they were fairly receptive. Like
Mm.
my mom, even my stepdad, who doesn't mess with technology at all, he's on there. The funny thing is, like, the one who kind of kept randomly sending Hangouts messages was my dad of all people, and he's pretty,
Mm.
like, he knows what he's doing. Like, he has a Pixel and all this, but we're all on there now, and it's great. Like, I don't even open Hangouts or chat anymore ever. Like, that app is like, I could probably uninstall it. Actually, there's like random people like Eric that used to work with Droid Life. He
Oh yeah.
randomly messages me on Hangouts because I think he's on Signal and I don't think he's on Telegram, but I should check with him.
Hmm.
Anyway, yeah, so Ben Jacobs said the same thing. He's like, I moved everyone to chat or Hangouts years ago. Now I'm on chat. Now I don't want to move it. And I totally get that. It is hard to move people. I was surprised that my family was like, okay, let's just do it. And it took a little bit of work, but I mean, I'm full-time Telegram. It's great. I feel for you guys.
Yeah, it sounds really awesome, dude. One day we'll get there. Maybe this Christmas, I can just like, hey, give me your phone. I'm just gonna download it and get it all going for you. I don't know. We'll do something. It's just, it's craziness. It's
You could
crazy.
probably jump in a Google Meet and then teach everyone how to use Telegram.
No, because we all use Google. We all use Zoom for video chats.
Oh my
Like,
God. What a nightmare. Everyone's on Hangouts.
yeah, I know it's brutal.
And like it's built in pretty much.
Yeah, you know, and they're all relatively tech savvy people. But I don't know. I mean,
Jesus. That sounds awful.
it's brutal.
All right.
My dog is like snoring up a storm. Hopefully, you don't hear him coming through the mic. God, he's
Well,
rude.
I heard that. Yeah, that's good though. It's soothing. Um, last bit of Google news. Google Stadia, our other favorite topic outside of smartwatches, finally got Chromecast with Google TV and Android TV support. So if you're a big Stadia user, we're not. You can now finally, after all this time, play games through your Android TV or whatever. I don't know why it took so long for Google to do this. Instead, they just did that Chromecast Ultra connection forever, which was just weird. Because all these Google TV devices have casting built in, or Android TV devices. So it's finally there. I have not tried it, although Google TV got an update, or Chromecast with Google TV got an update that enables it. I don't think, does Shield need an update to work on Stadia? It probably does, right? Like, you can't use Stadia on Shield, right? Or can you? I don't even know.
Not yet,
It probably
right?
needs an update, right? But Google said it. They're like, it's coming. I think.
Yeah, didn't they talk about this? I
I
forget.
have no idea. This is how
Dude,
much I care about Stadia.
I'm so removed from Stadia.
It's hard to pay attention to Stadia.
It's later this year. Seems Android TV late. Yeah, it's later, right? It's just not yet.
Okay, so it's only on Chromecast, Google TV at the moment. Android TV will be way down the line then. And
Yeah.
Nvidia probably won't even adopt it because they
Well,
have
they
GeForce
don't want to.
Now.
They have GeForce now, right? I mean, but Nvidia's like so cool. Like they don't care. They're like whatever. I mean,
We'll
like,
see. I almost think they just probably won't. They'll just be like, nah, we're good.
well, I mean, thankfully, Stadia is probably going to be gone, right? Like before Shield has to worry about
No
adopting
idea.
it.
I swear, like every executive or person that worked there has left. So I don't know. Like Ben says, by the way, the Stadia community is kind of weird and wild. Yet they are. They're very serious. If you go to the Stadia subreddit, they're very serious about. I'm pretty sure every time we do a show and you say that Stadia is dead and getting canceled soon, somebody probably freaks out over there. They probably hate us. I don't actually know for sure because I don't actually hang out in that subreddit, but
That's
the
fine.
few times I've gone over there, they're all. I mean, they're all of. It's quite the group.
Stadia people, let me throw this out there. This is a nugget. This will get them up. Stadia fans are people who just can't buy new Xboxes and PlayStations. And that's all there is to it. They're just a bunch of people who can't get the new console, and so they're hyping up Stadia. But as soon as they're able to buy a PlayStation or Xbox, they're going to completely forget about Stadia.
As soon as the chip shortage is over and you can readily buy one, they're just ditching Stadia. That's your opinion.
Exactly. They're going to be like, Stadia,
Maybe.
what? Who?
Maybe.
I was finally able to order a PlayStation yesterday, and I'm like pretty happy about it. However, it doesn't even arrive until mid-July, so it's like, did I even really order it? That's stupid.
Probably not. No. They probably have to still manufacture it.
What's up with that? Come on, Walmart.
Bad. Let's see. So a couple more topics, and then we'll do trivia. But Samsung, we have a couple of dates for you to pay attention to. I believe it's August 11th is the new rumored date for the Galaxy Watch 4 to arrive. However, in June, end of this month at MWC, which apparently is still happening in Barcelona, Samsung has a sort of a talk they're going to do where they're going to potentially show off maybe what their plans are with the Galaxy Watch 4. Maybe we'll get a first look at One UI on the new unified wearable platform that is. But so August 11th for the watches. And then later that month, August 27th for the Z Flip, Z Fold 3. There's no Note this year, so 2 foldables, 2 and what, like 4 watches? By the way, we're expecting 4. Galaxy Watch 4 in 2 sizes. Galaxy Watch 4 Active also in 2 sizes. And all 4, at least the FCC has said, there will be Bluetooth models and LTE models. So there will be watches everywhere for you to buy here pretty soon. Oh, and then final topic, OnePlus and Oppo. Let's talk about these guys for a minute.
All right.
So OnePlus said this week, CEO Pete Lau of OnePlus, who also manages something for Oppo. He works for Oppo. Now, I believe Pete Lau used to work for Oppo. Like him and Carl Pei before OnePlus worked at Oppo. And then I don't want to say they founded OnePlus because OnePlus, they didn't really found one. They just were hired to lead OnePlus when it became a new sub-brand of BBK, right? Like that's really...
Yeah, I mean, are we
Right.
really to believe that they kind of like
They were never
separated
independent.
from Oppo and like
No.
we're some small startup? Like,
No.
I don't know.
100% no.
It's all marketing.
So it's all, yeah. So we're kind of coming full circle though, because Pete Lau now, since last year, I believe, or maybe it was just earlier this year, has started kind of working for Oppo again as like managing their product portfolio. And so he's kind of had Oppo, OnePlus. Remember, he was at Oppo and then he was there to lead OnePlus when they started that up. So anyway, what he announced this week is that OnePlus, and let me get this right, is it deeper integration, further integration? Let me just open this. Let me just open up his statement here so we get it right.
What is
We
going
have
on?
decided to, I believe it's further integrate. Of course, I have to read his entire post now to find the exact words I'm looking for. Further integrate, that is. We've decided to further integrate our organization with Oppo. So what does that mean? Well, Pete says they're going to be independent. We will continue to operate independently. However, I guess that depends on Pete's term or definition of the term operate, because what he said is they're going to start working together. Like their teams are going to work together, which means they're probably working together on software. Their hardware teams are probably talking about stuff. We used to joke that OnePlus phones, you knew what they were going to look like because you just looked at whatever Oppo phone was just announced. I think that probably holds true now more than ever. So I don't know how independent they can stay when they're further integrating with Oppo, but it's apparent they're going to share resources in manufacturing and all that, which they've done forever. They're just kind of being more open about it, which, you know, I'm glad they're being more open about it. but who was it when they released Android 12 beta at Google I/O for the OnePlus 9 that bricked it? Max Weinbach looked at it, like he loaded it on his phone. I think he was like the only person that did it. And he found out that it was bricking phones, and he was diving through, and it was Oppo's Color OS like everywhere. And so it was supposed to be OnePlus's Oxygen OS, but it wasn't. It was Color OS, and maybe it was like because I believe don't OnePlus phones in China run Color OS, or it's not called Color OS. I don't think it's called like Oxygen Color. It has like a different name than Oxygen OS, and maybe it is Color OS. I don't know.
It's like a stone or something, if I'm not mistaken. Like carbon? No, I forget.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's
it doesn't
basically
matter.
their super skinned like hydrogen OS. That's what it is. Rashad got that. Thank you. And I believe that's just a more heavily skinned, probably closer to Color OS. So anyway, when he loaded this Android 12 beta, he just saw like all these references to Color OS everywhere. So like they like shipped him on this beta for Android 12. So that's not great, right? So now we're going, okay, what is the difference between these two? Are you guys just going to start shipping the same software as Oppo? Is it really just rebranded hardware? Like, so I don't know the like what the really, really big takeaway should be from this, because they're not really saying what's going on. He says we're further integrating, but what the hell does that mean? I asked OnePlus's PR, like, can you explain this more? Are you guys just a sub brand of Oppo now? Like, what are you? And they just said, please just read our statement. And he just linked me to the statement from Pete Lau, which is what I just asked a bunch of questions about. So we don't really know. OnePlus has kind of been, we've talked about this on previous shows, that they've definitely gone down this weird path now where they're not who they once were. And I don't know that a lot of us like where they're going, like, pricing of hardware, software changes. And now they have all these really cheap, I'm sure they're fine, these cheap Nord phones that feel and look just like mass produced crap you would kind of find anywhere. And so they don't feel like the company that we once used to really like and could get behind the message. Now they're like a sub brand of Oppo, and they're just basically Oppo, but they're going to put a OnePlus logo on things. Like, I don't really know, because they won't really say, but it doesn't seem great.
Yeah, the current state of OnePlus is extremely lame. I mean, they used to just put out 2-3 phones tops. Now there's like a
great.
OnePlus phone every week, and I can't name them all. And I just don't even care. I mean, we've always sort of focused on higher end devices because there's so many Android phones. Like there's plenty of Android blogs who can cover every phone. But dude, I can't keep track of all these Nords and 200s and whatever else is going on. And they're all pretty bad from what I can tell. So I just don't know why OnePlus feels necessary. Why do they need to get into the $200 smartphone business, right? Like,
there's lots of money. That business
so.
is what saved Motorola, right? Like, Motorola is still a company because they sell a boatload of those mid-range crappy phones that we don't want to use. That's all they sell, and that's why they're a company. And they've started making Motorola started making a little bit of money again, because all they do is sell these crappy phones, and the margins on them must be great.
I could totally appreciate that, but then all you're doing is competing yet again with the huge dogs like Samsung and, well, I was gonna say LG, but rip. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just crazy. I wish they had a more focused approach, to the smartphones and what they were doing. So Brandon says they're filling the void, but there's no void, right? When you're like, Samsung is another company that makes 20 mid-range devices a year. There's no void when you're going up against a company like that. So there must be a small portion of the market for them, and they obviously have that built-in audience, right? In places like India and other countries where the more inexpensive device is popular. So I don't know. They just aren't for me, and it's hard to pay attention because you're like, oh, here's another one,
here's another Nord phone. Yeah, are they just going to become LG, where people just stop caring because they just make too much stuff to keep track of? I don't really know.
Maybe we'll like keep that stuff over there. Like don't even bog down the U.S. market like with that stuff. Maybe just keep the high end stuff here, like the 9s and what are we going to be on? We're going to be on the 10 next year. Man.
Yeah. I
The
think, I
OnePlus,
mean,
they already have the OnePlus X, so it's got to be the
I think
10.
one of the like the OnePlus, I think it was the N10, which came out last year only, and I think only T-Mobile had it. I think T-Mobile said it was like their best-selling mid-range phone or something. So, they'll that's the thing is like you and I don't care about these mid-range phones because we only kind of review the high-end stuff. Apparently,
Mm.
there's still a big market for these because, like I said, Motorola still that's where they sell. Um, Somebody in the chat mentioned that LG does. I don't know. I think LG did sell a lot, but they're clearly not enough, or they would have at least stuck around to do that, like maybe Motorola did. And OnePlus thinks there's a huge opportunity, but like you said, Samsung sells a million mid-range crappy phones. It's weird. I think the mid-range stuff I could be fine with. OnePlus wants to do this Nord thing, like whatever, like opportunity, make some money. I don't really care. My issue is that their high-end phones completely ditched what they were,
Yes.
and now they don't stand out anymore. They just
Right.
are expensive phones that still aren't as good as Samsung's. And
Yeah.
so when you're the expensive phone that's not as good as Samsung, well, what happened to LG? Because that was LG forever. They made good phones and they wanted a lot of money for them, but they weren't as good as Samsung, and they are no longer a smartphone company. So I think OnePlus needs to be kind of careful because it already feels a little bit like people are starting to forget OnePlus. Like when the
Mm.
OnePlus 9 came out, I haven't seen such a meh reaction from the world as I've seen in a long time. Like it had to be like an LG phone, probably. Like I just don't think people cared about the OnePlus 9 phones. Um, and so I think they need to kind of be careful where they're going because I would hate to see OnePlus just turn into LG. And now this merging thing with Oppo, I don't think it means good things. I think they needed to really continue to be independent, not try to cut every manufacturing corner possible by just utilizing Oppo's crap. Like, I don't know that that was actually the right idea. So I guess we'll see. I'm
I'm
not a
totally.
manufacturing expert, but we
Yeah.
talk a
I
lot
couldn't.
about branding and
I couldn't be more with you on that. And then, yeah. And then, while we're talking about this, I mean, huge shout out to Lars and Nick in the chat who were just going back and forth with Stadia and PS5 talk, and which is better. Um, I don't have a dog in this fight, but good luck to both of you.
you will
We'll
soon.
see.
You will soon be a PS5 owner.
We'll see. And then Lars, I just want to put it out there, like Stadia is a good service. It totally works. Nothing wrong with it. I completed. I played. I bought and completed. What was it? Borderlands
Borderlands.
3. There, and it was a fine experience. Some hiccups here and there, but it just wasn't the service for me. But it performed well. So I don't want Lars to think I'm out here hating on Stadia. It has nothing to
You
do
are.
with that. It's just
You hate Stadia.
it's just very much a Google thing for them to get all flashy with a service and then totally ignore it and poo-poo it away until it dies. And I'm just jaded from years of that from Google. So
Or Stadia.
I feel bad for the Stadia community. I don't want them to get their hopes up thinking that this is going to be the thing that, Google doesn't care if they're losing a bunch of money. They're going to keep it alive for us. I don't know.
The last time Stadia made a significant announcement, I believe The Verge had a write up. I can't remember which writer there's wrote it up, but he broke down what the future of Stadia could end up being, and it was basically like Google's just gonna license or create their own sort of online game streaming stores for everybody else, and that's why Stadia will probably die. Like it won't just be because they abandoned Stadia; it'll be because they're flipping the service more into like a one-stop shop for other people to launch their own like game streaming platforms. I
Mm,
believe that's what it was, and I was like, wow, that actually sounds awful for people that are on Stadia right now because that does sound like that's what Google's going to try to do. So it's too bad because I think Stadia, like the controller's nice, the
sure.
experience is actually pretty good. They're
Hmm.
growing the game library. They've been adding features and stuff, but we've seen a lot of their employees leave, like the ones that were like at the head of it. They've been leaving a lot lately, and so I don't know if that's a good sign or not. Typically, that doesn't seem like it, but who knows?
Yeah, shutting down their own kind of gaming studio stuff wasn't kind of helpful,
Right?
I don't think, in terms of having confidence in Google's vision. Um, Yeah. I mean, it's a fine service. Let's just put it at that. But I just don't think it'll be around forever. That's all.
Well, and so like Nick just mentioned, there's a big uncertainty with it. And the problem with there being uncertainty is they want you to spend $60 on a new game. And if Stadia goes away, what happens to that game? Are you going to get some sort of digital download to bring to another platform? Probably not, right? So that's what kind of sucks. If you sign up for Stadia Pro and you just play the games they give you for free every month, you could build up a pretty good library of free games and you might just want to play those all the time. But when the new AAA title comes out, like Resident Evil just came out, that's not going to be in Stadia Pro, I don't think, for a really long time, if ever. So you would have to spend $60. And then if Stadia dies in 6 months, what's Google going to do for you? I don't know. And maybe they have a backup plan and maybe they're just never going to die, Tim, and you and I are just completely off and we know nothing.
Yeah, it's totally possible. That happens more times than not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I thought Stadia would be great for Cyberpunk, but I'm just so grateful I never even tried to play that game in the first place.
I played for 1 day.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It's hard to say because that was early on. I don't think it had its first big update, and I thought it was going to be fun and I would like it, and I just don't know that that's my kind of game. So I don't have like a bad review of that experience. I just like running around a city trying to complete tasks. Like it was not like I didn't play any of the Grand Theft Autos and shit like that sort of.
But
I know people love that stuff, but I was like, I don't. So what do I do? I just talk to this person. They tell me something to do, and I have to like drive a car across the city and do like this. This sounds really tedious. I don't want to do this. Well, that's the thing.
Like if I want to play Cyberpunk, I'd rather just play Grand Theft Auto because it's like the same thing, but way better. Like,
yeah, I just didn't ever play any of those games, so it's just I don't have like a review of it, but yeah, I tried.
Yeah,
I think I own it on Stadia. I have never played it again.
I'm just gonna wait for the new Battlefield, and that's that. That's all I need. I got my PlayStation coming. Battlefield. That's good. Game over.
Good. All right, let's do some trivia.
Oh yeah, nice. All right, cool. Sorry everyone, I still don't have my lights set up. I need to figure out how I want to arrange the lights, so no lights still, but...
Okay, well, it's trivia time. No lights. I can still kind of do the trivia dance shimmy. If you're new around here, it's trivia time. So the show, we're done with topics. You can leave if you want, but if you want to win free stuff, hang out now. We're going to run through 5 questions. We'll put each one up on the screen. Tim will also read it out. And you in the YouTube chat live, like if you're listening to this down the road, I apologize, this might be confusing. If you're live with us on YouTube, you will type out your answers as quickly as you can. And if you're first and you get it right, we will call out your name and you win $10 in Google Play credit. It's the simplest thing ever. And we give away all sorts of free stuff. This is just what we do. It's just what we do.
We're nice guys like that.
Sometimes. So, long-time listeners, hopefully you're 144p. I see at least one of them, audio only. Whatever you got to do to get that latency. And we actually leave our stream in ultra low latency now, so it's pretty quick for everyone, I think. Yeah, I mean, at least on our end to see your responses.
Snap my finger. You should all see that snap pretty darn quickly. So
I'm watching it. Boom. Yeah, that was probably 5 seconds. That's not bad.
Okay.
I could probably get it closer if I refreshed over there too.
I was kind of hoping for 2-3 seconds, but
yeah, I mean, if I refresh, I might, but I don't really want to do that, so probably break something.
Brandon says Tim got that fiber internet. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on that. I'm actually, I'm just hardwired through like a power line. Like,
yes, you are,
dude. Anyway, like, don't get CenturyLink. Like, if you want like internet, unless you have to get CenturyLink, just don't even bother with it. Just, I don't care how much you hate Comcast. Just stick with Comcast, man. It might suck, but just stick with them. All right, I'm ready when.
Let's do this. All right. Question number 1 is up now.
What is Sergey Brin's middle name? Again, I love it. 18th century link. That's so funny. Yeah. Question number 1. What is Sergey Brin's middle name? That's what it is, dude. That's the funniest thing I've heard all day. And
I haven't actually heard that.
Yeah. 18th century link. Dude, Brandon. Shout out to Brandon.
Matt Kwan's got it, right?
Yeah, Matt Kwan with the correct answer of Mikhailovich. Not entirely sure. I'm going to go with Mikhailovich. Matt Kwan, congratulations. Whoops. You are the winner of a $10 Google Play gift card.
Nice.
Nice. Congratulations.
That was a quick one. It's that ultra low latency.
I really like that latency. Nice try, Ben. Super close. All right. I'm ready for question number 2.
All right. Question number 2 is up now.
Which IMX, that's Sony, which Sony made IMX camera sensor has Google been using in Pixel phones since the Pixel 3? Everyone should know this. Which IMX camera sensor has Google been using in Pixel phones since the Pixel 3? I was going to say forever, but I wanted to be a bit more, help you guys out. So interesting. Rashad? I'm just going to go with the numbers, the IMX, the 363. So I'm seeing Rashad Gaddis as our winner. Congratulations, Rashad.
Christian, you were right behind him with IMX 363, but we're going to take 363 just because you said IMX in the question. It was kind of out there for either.
Yeah, Rashad, that was a very close one.
Yeah, Rashad, you were first, 363.
All right, get those typing fingers ready because, you won't be able to swipe this one. Go ahead. Go ahead and question number 3.
Number 3 is up now.
So I got this sweet new Axon 30 Ultra. What does the acronym ZTE stand for? Amazing phone, by the way. What does the acronym ZTE stand?
It looks like a Samsung phone.
It is a Samsung phone, basically. Okay, now, spelling is extremely important. Yeah,
that's copying it first.
Hey, that's impressive. I'm going to go with Seth Merritt with that telecommunications equipment. Congratulations, Seth. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I assume it stood for telecommunications.
Something, yeah.
It's a long one.
I'm going to go for it. Zhongjing?
I'm going to say Zhongqing. Zhongqing. I don't know.
Sean Shing.
That's my guess.
If someone knows, please hit us up in the comments section. Seth Merritt. All right, congratulations, man. $10 of Google Play coming at you.
All right, here's a classic one.
ZTE. Oh yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say ZTE is back, baby.
It looks like a nice phone. It just looks like a Samsung. Looks like a Note 20.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, yes. Question number 4. Here we go.
Question 4 is up now.
Which application processor powered the amazing Nexus Q? Oh, my. Which processor powered the legendary, amazing, superb Nexus Q?
I really need to find mine again. I just don't really know where it is. I think it's at the bottom of my closet full of old tech crap. I
got mine in my closet. Jimmy gave us the manufacturer. Unfortunately, we were looking for the actual processor. Great. We're looking for the OMAP 4460, and Christian came in with it. OMAP 4460. Christian, congratulations. You just got yourself $10 Google Play credit.
Greg, you were right behind Christian. You guys probably hit enter at the same time, but on our screen, Christian is just above you, Greg.
Christian, you are a third of the way to buying Godzilla vs. Kong in 4K on Google Play. Congratulations. How do you spell that? Is that Batiste?
Looks like it.
Very nice. Okay, now this is my favorite question of all. So I'm ready when you are.
Question number 5 is up now. This is an easy one.
Well, it's still fun, though. Who spearheaded the Google Plus platform until 2014? So what Googler spearheaded the Google Plus platform until 2014? He was basically the man behind the platform.
Drama.
Yeah.
Drama.
Drama.
Trash. No one's got this yet? What are we doing, folks?
Now Greg, yeah, I mean, I don't think I can take that. I mean, he's.
Is
What
that
do
his
you think
full
about
name? I
that?
don't know.
I
Is that his
I have
full
no
name?
idea. Is it? I gotta Google it now to make
Yeah, Google
sure
that
because
now.
I don't want to screw him out of a dub.
Because
Oh
that
yeah,
might
no,
be.
it totally is. Nice. I only know him as Vic Gundutra, but
Yeah.
Vivek Paul Gundutra.
All right, Greg, you
Gundutra.
just taught us something. Because, yeah, I just knew him as Vic, but that must be the full name. All right. Greg
Yeah,
Smith Jr.
I'm making sure that yeah, Ben, sorry, you were after Greg on our end. So Greg, congratulations, man. $10 of Google Play credit coming at you. Greg Smith Jr.
Nice.
Love it. Excellent. Well, congratulations. So I'm gonna need to hear from a couple of people. I need to hear from Matt Kwan, Rashad Gaddis, Seth Merritt, Christian, Baptiste, and Greg Smith Jr. Winners, feel free to email me and we will get your Google Play credit out to you shortly. My email is in the chat. A lot of you people have already won, so feel free to, hit me up.
Email Tim. He'll get you money.
Yep. Money, money, money. Money.
18th Century Link. I love that.
18th Century Link. Dude, and
I
they
tried
were
to get
so,
Century Link
dude.
and they just can't get the thing to my house. They tried.
Because they were using 18th century tools, maybe.
Probably.
My issue is that you need, I want to have it in my office, obviously. Except I don't have a phone jack in my office, and they aren't running phone lines because of COVID, even though COVID isn't even a thing anymore. Like, is that like just the excuse now? COVID protocol. Sorry, can't do anything. Like, dude, what? They told me
It's
to
definitely
hire an
still a
outside
thing, by the
electrician.
way. Please don't take Tim's advice on all of that. COVID is still definitely a thing.
I don't even think you have to wear a mask. Like, when I'm vaccinated, so for me, not a thing.
Okay, so
Not a
that's
thing.
the thing, yeah. Like
Yeah.
we should be able to we need to work on these interactions where we can just confirm vaccination and then people can do stuff they used to do. Cuz yes, that is a thing. COVID's still a thing, but what you're saying is we're entering this new world where a bunch of people are vaccinated, and so we
Yeah.
should be able to do stuff by improving that anyway. Yeah, so they won't run phone line, but guys should have been like, "Hey, we're all vaccinated. Let's just run some lines and
Let's
have a
run some
party."
line. It shouldn't be that difficult. Yeah. So I'm all for. Obviously, I'm not a COVID truther. Thank you very much. I'm from the
I know
West
you're not.
Coast. I'm very much a libtard. And yeah. So get vaccinated. Wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. As long as you're vaccinated, it apparently doesn't matter anymore. Still weird. Like in my town, in my little town, my lumberjack town, they haven't been wearing masks for a while. But so it's a little weird kind of walking around and seeing people, going to Walmart and all that, and there's no mask. But it's like, things are getting a little different now. And that's cool. One day I want us to get back to normal, right? So, but what is normal? I don't know, man. Just get vaccinated, people. It's not that difficult. What's a little 5G among friends, Come on. There's even a chip shortage. I don't know what people... Is that why the chip shortage? Because it's all going into the
100%.
vaccines?
Yes, all the vaccines have chips in them, so that's why we can't have PlayStations.
Damn
they're
it,
all in the
I
vaccine.
get it now. That's crazy.
Tavares says we're back to regular germs, disease, and stuff. Yeah, so this is the thing. Like, I don't want to do too much COVID talk here. People can do whatever they want, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that is like the point that's where it's gonna be like really crappy. Is we're all gonna get colds again. Like the flu's gonna come back. Like my kid hasn't been sick with a cold, and I haven't been from him going to school and all. Like my wife, like we haven't had a colds and flu in over a year, and it's been lovely. And then this fall, when all the kids go back full time, because in Portland they only went part time, everyone's just gonna get sick again, and we're all gonna have sniffles and
The sniffles. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Brandon, I'm not quite set off. We're not gonna go. I know there's people that, have their opinions on this stuff.
Totally. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say too much. I know you got I don't want to, tell everyone how to live their life, but, I
Yeah.
am vaccinated. I am vaccinated. I am certainly pro-vaccine.
Kellen is very much, yeah. I mean, Kellen wanted to be first in line, so he made sure he was vaccinated and
I, I probably would have been. I probably would have done
the
a vaccine.
trials.
Yeah, I totally probably would have done a trial.
See, I don't know if I would do a trial just because, like, I don't
Believe
know,
in
it seems a little
science.
sketch, but
I'm a big believe in science guy, so
well, yeah, but like sacrifice comes at the price of science sometimes, like, and
this is true.
I wasn't willing to like sacrifice my own life, like
I
just
do
for them
not
to
love Bill
test
Gates.
something,
I
right?
do not love Bill Gates. I've never really liked
Kellen
Bill
loves
Gates. I
Bill.
don't.
I've
Damn
never been
it.
a huge Bill Gates guy.
No, never. And now it sounds like he's a really bad guy, doesn't it? Isn't that like the story? I mean, I know he's going to get a divorce. And look, people don't have to can get divorced, and that's not because they're a bad guy. But his came out, and he's like, the stories about Bill just don't stop at this point.
Poor Bill.
Not poor Bill. He just seems like you know, whatever. I don't know where this show's going now, but anyways,
It's a
it's good to
tangent.
see everyone.
Yeah, I hope everyone's doing good. I hope we can do this, specifically this, a lot more here in the coming future.
Hopefully very soon, yes. Hopefully there's lots of new fun stuff coming up, and then we'll do this lots. Samsung's coming up soon, like a month. Should be fun.
Yeah, we've got Samsung. We've got more Android 12 stuff going to be happening.
Prime Day. Not that we would do a show about Prime Day, but that's next week. Prime Day.
We should do just like a live stream on Prime Day and just share deals all day and like talk and buy and do online shopping. That'd be kind of cool.
Show you how much crap we could buy. Yeah, that could be fun. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Anyways,
Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to report. I got a
either.
PlayStation. That's about it. That's been life.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see everyone. We'll try to get back sooner than the last time. So be safe, everyone. Have a nice weekend. Have fun, and we'll see you soon. Enjoy life.
Peace.
Peace.